Day. I hope quite well. First things first, my name is Kenneth, and my company is ILEG, and that's technology screens. I'm gonna start saying technology screens, and then go infusion light energy gain, because that's what it is. But anyway, so I decided I can't wait to change out the floor. That's coming soon. It's coming next. Changing out the floor, so get the floor ready to do that. But I am actually keeping, and let me fix that too, because the floor separation drives me nuts. I'm actually keeping the projector that I had the problem with on eBay. So the good thing about having uh, uh, praying on things and um, praying on things and putting things in God's hands is there is a reason for all things. And I'm looking over this projector. I've never ever heard of a static IP, like not static IP, a static image. Never came across one ever in all the projectors I've purchased. Ever, never seen one. I've seen everything from rainbow effect. I've seen that. I've seen the it's got this kind of a purplish color to when it only shows on white surfaces. And scratch definitely means your projector is definitely damaged when those pop up. I've seen a lot of stuff, right? So pretty much got an idea on how to fix something, but I've never seen anything like this before in my life. So I'm doing some research on it, and they're talking about how it could be an image burned into a lens, much like TVs do it back in the day or TVs do it now. And then I look into something, and it says an image can do it. An image could literally be stuck and pause on a signal, which means that the port itself would be damaged. Don't do anything weird on camera. Those of you who know, my cat likes to get in front of the camera and clean himself. It's weird. But anyway, just warning you ahead of time in case my cat's from doing it. All right, so, oh, he's out of the frame shot. Good. So anyway, yeah, so I'm looking at that. I'm like, wait a minute. That's your mind's ticking. Like, wait, how the frick is that even possible? It's like somebody paused something, and it's just stuck there. So I went and got because you got this adapters that convert the VGAs into HDMI's, and I put one of them in the back of it, and lo and behold, it worked. So that's literally how you get around that signal issue. Now, do we need to have? Some people won't touch it because they figure that if I don't have HDMI, signal's not going to be that clear. It's not going to be that sharp. No, that kind of pretty much mostly falls upon your screen, and it really does fall upon your screen. You have no idea how much it falls upon your screen. But anyway, so we've had projectors in the room that were HDMI, and I actually did that test demonstration already for a lot of people to see. Like we did 4K and 720p, because remember, you got to back up what you say on camera. So when I make that statement, I can go back to my archives and I can pull up video demonstrations, as I can pull up archives today on anything I said. But anyway, so yeah, we've done, when I first started introducing these particular types of adapters, we had a lot of people asking that question. You're going to lose signal. Is the image going to drop? It's going to deteriorate. We had like high power projectors next to other projectors, really couldn't tell one from the other. But anyway. So yeah, that fixes that problem. Now, do we do the HDMI port? No, because the adapters we got literally run all that stuff around. Gaming systems, Fire Sticks, Apple TV, all that stuff has been run off them with no problem whatsoever. And some of them, the adapters, because I've purchased quite a lot of these things, some of the adapters require power and some don't. The ones I knew run for gaming applications and stuff like that, when you run your console system through a VGA, it requires power, a little power output for it. But if you're running basically just everyday content, you know what I mean? Something like videos and movies like that, it doesn't require little adapter screws in the back. Now, some I've seen it sucked. They were absolutely horrible, and some were actually fantastic. So the ones I buy here, I've been using them for years. They were fantastic. So that was it. All I do is plug it in the back. We're done. Now, I want to contact the person who sold me the projector, because now they get to keep the $63 already, because again, for me and for some people saying, well, that was no. The fellow who tested this thing should have figured out the same thing I just saw, and he should have put in his description there is a static image, or not static image static, or what do they call it, I forgot the name of it already that fast, on certain ports. So the HDMI port is not usable, and he should have showed the picture of what happens on that port. And if I go pull that from my PC, it switches back over to HDMI, which they all switch back over to HDMI because that's the main signal that will come up first. Like mine comes up on there or whatever. But anyway, so if I pull that, you'll see that image pop up. And that's what he should have shown. Instead of saying, I thoroughly checked it out, it works perfectly fine, and it didn't work perfectly fine. If he'd have put that information in there, I still would have bought his machine, because again, at the end of the day, I'm thinking that, okay, if it's just that port, and if he's showing me a video of him basically connecting VGA into that, and it's running, then that lets me know I can just use the VGA. That's fantastic for me. I'll just get an adapter and throw it on there, and that's it. And he still would have got paid. This is why it pays to be honest and to write everything in your specification sheets properly. We get people get mad when I say this because you know who you are, and I don't know why you're in here to begin with if you don't like what I say. We consider that stalking. You have no idea, people. I told you I got a second cell phone, and I can literally log into all this over here, and I can see people's accounts on the other end because I'm coming in here as a user to watch this. And the same people who hate my guts are actually in my channel watching me every day. So if you don't consider that to be obsession and stalking, that is. Oh, by the way, you do know I'm a man, right? So, you know, that kind of questions your marriage at the end of the day. Because they probably watch me more than they watch their wives. And that is scary. But anyway, so yeah, that's what that is, pretty much. And I learned something new. So yeah, if he basically would have wrote all that in the specification, I would have bought it. I bought projectors for like $10. Like some crazy stuff at the end of the day. So I definitely would have picked that up because it's an easy solution for me to get around. Instead of me getting it here, not working properly, and then I got to go figure it out. You know what I mean? Lord bless us to be to figure out and go from there. So he can keep the money. I told you at the end of the day, it's not the money. It's basically we need a machine that works. That's all that matters. I couldn't care less if the HDMI port didn't work. We don't use them at half the time anyway. I have the projectors we buy, so we don't depend on them. Well, yeah, it's fixed. I'm keeping it. I got the other lamp coming in from God knows where, because I know I ordered that one. Now it's coming in from the country. I got the rotary tool coming in, and for those, yeah, it takes so long for it to get here. I usually try to order my lamps here within the United States because they get it faster, but apparently this is coming from China, so, you know, what do you do? It's coming over. Got it for a good price anyway. Happy about it. And I'm going to basically go in and open that up, and we're going to saw a little bit, slice a little bit into the screw we have in there, because it's stuck. I don't even know why. Like, what is it with people who put these things together? Like, we'll put all the screws in softly, but the last one we'll put it in with a hydraulic power tool. And then they put soft screws in, which they get stripped out. So how you get around a stripped screw is you kind of slice the top a little bit, make it a flathead, and pull it out. You're done. Oh, my goodness. We get that one replaced for good. That's what I'm taking on site because it has a special lens on it that gives me a zoom lens. I want to be a little farther back when I do demonstrations on site. Let's see. So it's working perfectly fine. So he's good to go. He can keep his money. I'm happy with that. Am I going to write anything bad on his review at the end of the day? Technically, no. Not necessary. The machine is working. We got it up and running. No problem whatsoever. I am going to send him a nice little email, by the way, explaining to him at the end of the day, next time, you know, be honest about it and write everything down. You'd be surprised. Somebody will buy it, then you're not doing anything wrong at the end of the day. Because clearly, literally, with that email he just sent us, and I hate to say it, he literally he could have got sued. He literally could have gotten sued for that. Because again, he made a statement that he couldn't back up, and that's not good. When you can't back up statements, because that means someone can basically take you to a courtroom, and you're screwed. How are you going to get around that? So yeah, next time just be honest, and it works out better that way. Let me see. Oh, we're building a wall PC today too. On top of that, I wasn't joking. We're actually going to build a wall PC. Nice little, smaller than this one over here too. Much smaller. So I'm going to build a wall PC today. So again, I've told you, we never know what the day's going to bring. I'm putting an organizer system under the desk. Goodness gracious, the desk needs an organizer. So my desk is huge. I have a huge compartment at the desk. Got to do something with it. Got to put a little compartment, something down there. We're definitely building that. Taco's getting a new box house. So we're putting that in. We got to go get more glue sticks. This time we're going over to our local and get the 24 instead of 12. We killed 12 off building this over here. Those you haven't seen that, that is the metal bookcase we had there is no more. It is gone. So then I built this instead, and it covers everything we need. My projector sits on it quite nicely. It's nice and sturdy. It's strong. And I'm going to be doing a panel system like we did here. This, you can see behind me, cardboard and panel. So this is going to be a panel system from here, here, and here. From here, inside we really don't have to do. Inside I got a high fluorescent, high powered white, much brighter than the Apple Barrel. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's worth it. It's designed to react to UV lights. So we're going to paint all the inside of that. Of course, we got to hand paint it because that's the only way to do it. And then the outside, it's going to be done all with the black, can't think of it. The black panels. That's how the outside is going to be done. Now, the cool thing about it is we're going to come in here and we're going to cut holes back here and here and here and down here and so forth all the way through, because we're going to run a black UV light through that whole thing. So that means that all the little characters we put in here, of course, I'm going to pick me up a nice little Lazy Susan today. So I'm going to put my little bobbleheads up there, and I'm going to paint each one of them over again with glow-in-the-dark paint that actually matches the color of the bobblehead. So when I stick them in there, they all glow. I'm going to put a little action scenery in there. I might do one of these areas like super dark and put a Ghostbuster scene in there. That'd be pretty cool. I actually got Ghostbuster action heroes. I do. I got them inside of a box. I never opened them. Well, it's time to open them. You know why? Because I'm never selling them, and I might as well enjoy them. Why are they sitting in the box somewhere? I'm not even touching them. Might as well put them in a little section over there. Make a little haunted area right there for them. That's what I think I would do. For each section that I put like little crazy bobbleheads in, I'm going to put the scenery that they come from in there. I'll probably just do 3 of these, because one of these, I do want to put some nice plants up here. And the plants are all going to be painted. The plastic plants are all going to be painted with a nice glow-in-the-dark, beautiful look to them. So that way they all glow when the lights come on. And we're going to be doing, I'm going to pick up another one of those glass jars, those huge glass jars. The ones we were going to put that exquisite silver into, which I got to put on the site. Got to get to the work. I'm updating doing the website right now. We're going to show you how to turn that into an amazing, gorgeous cyberpunk flower arrangement. It's going to be gorgeous. It's interesting because we got stuff on our channel that we do with the ladies too. Yep. So flower arrangements. I worked at a place called Crimps for roughly about 1.5 years. Crimps is a flower shop, and I learned how to rearrange flowers. I learned as much as I can. Any place I pop into, information I can learn, I absorb all it that I can. Because you never know, you might need it one day, like now. So we're going to make all that so it all glows in the dark. All the flowers glow. They look normal when the lights are on. Lights go off. They look absolutely exotic. Give you kind of like that nighttime scenery and Avatar kind of look to it. And yes, we're going to put nice beautiful marbles. Marbles are going to individually paint it. And we're going to put marbles into it, and the liquid itself actually glows. Try to do all that. We're going to put a nice little Lazy Susan in. Let's come over here to what we're doing here. We always got projects, right? Every time this camera comes on, there's always something we're building at the end of the day. We're never bored. Virtually impossible. It's just I can't find enough time to do some of the crazy stuff I like to do. So I'm not buying any form of decorations for the desk. The desk, because it's too big, too heavy to lift and get out of there, because trust me, I lift one side, it's all like good gracious, serious back injury. So it's going to stay here. So what we're going to do with it, we're going to basically black panel the top. We're not even going to touch the desk at all. Put this panel system on top of it, and we're going to do the panel system in small sections like those over there. But there are little sections we're going to panel it in, and the reason why, because between the cracks of each one, we're going to put in a laser trace system, which is a flat rope light. Doesn't have any of the circuits in it. You can snap and break by accident, get like a red signal popping off. It's a nice little flat surface. It's a rope surface. I saw them online, and I'm going to trace in between. I'm going to grid the desk. I'm going to turn it into a giant circuit board, digital circuit board. So we're going to put 2 sets of lights, because we do actually 3 sets. We need 3 sets to do it. We need 3 sets because each one have to go on their own pattern. But the third one is the one you leave on a single red, because it's a damaged circuit. That's one we actually going to have. And the desk is going to be circuit. And meanwhile, we're going to design some pretty artwork for the desk. We're going to design a levitating cube. I can share to make for super, 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 super cheap. It's going to have a levitating look to it. We did levitating projection screens. You ever seen those things before we designed? Very cheap, very easy to do, extremely affordable to make the screen look like it's actually floating in the air and there's nothing around it. Pretty cool to watch. We'll do one in here because we got this magnetic strip over here. This metal strip to show you how to do levitating screens. We're definitely going to be picking up some nice little Pico projectors, because our experiment for the black uh, translucent. That's the best way to find them. Translucent surface worked out absolutely perfect. So this makes this 10 times easier for me to convert a black screen. When we're doing the screens that are clear, we have to do multiple applications. Multiple applications that we done after light dust. After light dust, have to come on nice and smooth. If it doesn't, you have imperfections on the opposite side, which you don't want. It's a process. This makes it so much easier. It's much more expensive than plexiglass, but it makes it much more easier because it allows us to design a one-coat application that allows it to activate quickly and allows the image to push through with no problem whatsoever. So I do like this right here. We're definitely going to be buying this. So I went online. I found 2 companies that will allow me to have a surface that it's going to be 36 by 72 and 48 by 96. Thin credit card size, something we can easily roll up, we can easily ship, stuff like that. So definitely going to be investing in their company, and they have a minimum, which means it's good because some places want you to buy in bulk. And whoops, the camera just does not want to play nice with me at all. Get in there. I gotta get me a new stand. The stand is great, but it has issues with it. There you go. And here it pierces right through on the other side. Now I did show a piece off that's not coated with it, and I've seen people try to convert these into projection screens. You run into so many different issues with that. It's not even not even funny. And keep in mind, some people think it's a fast way of developing a black screen. Yeah, go ahead. Don't do your homework. At the end of the day, someone will take you to court and sue you. At the end of the day, you end up getting sued. So if you think you can't, you better make sure your tests are in. And you're going to have a lot of testing. Your testing is not there just only to prove to YouTube. It's also to back yourself up in court because it will be requested. Tests will be requested on your items. If you do not show any form of testing, if someone takes you to court on this, you're in a lot of trouble. So it better show that you put a lot of time and effort and research. Not 1 day, 2 day, one video. You better have a lot of videos. They're going to go back in your YouTube history or wherever you're posting your information from, and they're going to see how much knowledge you have in that field. It's like, again, the reason why they do this stuff, and people who don't live in the real world literally believe that that's not going to, and happen. Yes, it will. It will happen to you. Trust me. So you'll have to be to go in and show that you have been working in this field for quite some time, which technically makes you an expert in the field. It makes it harder for them to prosecute you on something that you didn't do because you're an expert in the field. You know what you're doing. Than not having any information at all, and they're going to have a field day tap dancing all over you. So it can get very serious. It's a business at the end of the day. I don't know where people got it off where when they're in trouble, they call it a hobby. And when they're not in trouble, then it's a business. You know, you pick a side, for goodness sakes. But you have to understand, you will end up in the courtroom. I've been in the courtroom multiple times. I've been able to back myself up 100%. Because we got tons of testing on our stuff. Hey, you're not supposed to be over there. You know better than that. Don't be a jerk. But yeah, we got tons of testing. So if you think that you're going to take a surface and coat it, you know, I couldn't care less at the end of the day because people think that well, let's put the concept of what we deal with most of the time. They figure that we're worried while we're saying this because they could figure, we don't care about that. You got to get contracted first. You got to be where I'm at right now. You got to have enough experience under your belt to stand where I'm standing at right now. Because some of you don't have the confidence to ship out to us. And if you can't ship out to us, there's no way in the world you can be here in this position. You got to earn this spot first. So once you earn that spot, then you can go roll. But other than that, no, you still have to back your product at 100%. So I couldn't care less if you spray a piece of plexiglass with poly or whatever you put on at the end of the day. You still got to be where I'm at the end of the day. It's like the scenario of the pet rock. It's just the best way to put it. Anyone could have duplicated easily what that guy did. But the thing about it is he has the original pet rock, and that's what they want. They couldn't care less if it's a rock in the backyard. It could be a pet pearl. It could be a pet diamond. They don't care. They want the original. They want the pet rock. That's the interesting thing. You can learn a lot in business about the whole, what do you call it? The story on the pet rock. You learn so much from that. And you're like, wow, why can't anybody just go in the backyard and just grab a everyday rock, put some googly eyes on it, stick it in inside of a box, and say, hey, we got a pet rock, and make the same kind of money because you don't have his pet rock. That's how that works. So, because we've been doing this for a long time, because we've had experience with companies, we've done business with doing this type of work, yeah, the odds of someone basically allowing you to do that to their glass, especially when they research your company, is not going to happen. Because I wouldn't touch you. If you're not showing me enough, you don't know all the consequences, you haven't tested against enough projectors. If you're doing the same scenario where you're stuck in the dark environments, I see a lot of them in dark environments, you know what I mean? Because they can't put light in the back of the screen because the screen will wash out. We can put 12K of light behind the back of the screen. Heck, these things absorb sunlight. So that's another thing. That's another interesting factor right there. Trying to get a screen to absorb sunlight at 5,000 lumens. It's pretty interesting. But anyway, yeah. So no, I'm not threatened anyway. Never have been threatened. For some reason, we get this where people feel that we're threatened because they make something. No, you just going to back your stuff up. Don't. We've got plenty of people out there making different forms of products. Reason why we don't mention them because we don't care. I'm already here. Why do I care what's going on in the neighbor's yard? I'm worried about what's going on in my yard right now. I'm not worried about anybody else's. But if you make it where you're basically putting signs outside your lawn saying bad things about me, then you will catch my attention. And it won't go well. Just leave it at that because I have more experience. I've been in the field for a very long time. I know what I'm doing. We do stuff like this and crazy stuff like this on a daily. So again, this is what you're going to be facing. Other than that, don't care. Only thing I'm thinking about right now is getting the projector for this done, getting the floor finished. We're in the process of dissolving the LLC, getting ready for the transfers of our DBA licensing, EIN number, which we need all that to bring employees on. I got to interview people, so I got a lot on my plate. We got facilities we're going through. I got to be on multiple different sites to show off the technology in different environments. So no. Look, it just come. This is why we did the contract. It's so much easier. And instead of me doing the whole with some knucklehead on YouTube that wants to go back and forth, no, sign the document. That's all you got to do. For those who know what the document is, it's a contract. It's a contract to me. It's an arbitration to back up your claim that you have the exact same product that I have, or basically it states where, bottom line, if you're on YouTube starting rumors about our company, saying that what we're doing is fake, we advise you to go to court with us. And you go to court with us, and within that contract you sign, and it's notarized, it states that if you lose, you pay $500,000. That's it. So keep in mind, as I said before, there's two types of these documents that go out. That is one of them, and the other one is actually quite worse because we found that you did a lot of these videos, a lot of them, and you're talking a lot of nonsense in a day. One document is designed to screw you. And I'm going to put it this way, what it means by it means you can't back up what you're doing, what you're saying. So the document, you get one of these documents from us, and it gives you 3 days to sign it. If you don't sign it within the 3 days, we automatically know from the door it was never signed. This means you can't back up your claim. And if it means you can't back up your claim, the next one is to get a private investigator to track your whereabouts, figure out where your address is at, so we can then send a process server to your front door to sue you for $2 million in federal court. Because we know you can't back it up. If you could, you would have signed that document and sent it back to us. So, yeah, that's one of the ways it can go down. But it cuts down on a lot of nonsense. And I've had people that I've dealt business with, they said, man, that is a fantastic idea. Because it is. If someone's talking trash and they're doing video fake demonstrations against your products, this is how you guarantee 100% that when you take them to court, you can easily get them for a couple $1 million. Easily. Because they can't sign a document they can't back up. And they're definitely not going to walk into a courtroom knowing that they could lose $500,000 in a courtroom because they can't back it up because they're online talking trash. So the fact that they can't sign that document means that you have 100% evidence, and it's better than basically doing a cease and desist order. You gotta get boosters in here. Anyway, so yeah, it means they can't back it up. That's what it clearly comes down to. Because if you could, you'd have signed it. We'd all be sitting in court getting this thing, getting it on. But if they don't sign it, that just tells us you can't back up what you said. And that means that Now we got the grounds to sue you for even more money because we know you can't back it up. That's what happens. So you go before a judge, and the judge is going to sit there and say, well, why didn't you sign the document? If you made all these statements about these individuals or whoever they may be, why didn't you sign the contract, bring the evidence that you have, go into court? There you go. It's an open and shut. It's a fantastic strategy on how to do this. And keep in mind, you can design these yourself. And when you do a crease and desist, you got to pay an attorney. This could cost that little document, that little piece of paper, can cost you $100. It could cost you $200, depending on what attorney you're going with. From to go in and draw this up and send this up, that could cost you money. This is free. It's your document that you design. Make sure you do it professionally. You know, write everything down, check it, have money proofread, so it's professional going over. But it's your document, your rules and regulations that you can send over to someone who's talking a lot of trash or bad mouthing your business. If they don't have any proof, and you know they don't have any proof, you know they're lying, send them over one of those documents. They don't sign that document, that means they don't have that evidence. And they don't have that evidence, guess what that means? Now you can go out and spend the money for your attorney because you know 1% they can't back their claim, and you go sue them. There you go. And that right there eliminates the crease and desist order. Now, the only thing crease and desist order does, it gives you a chance. That's what it does. This one gives you a chance too. Except for the crease and desist order tells you to back it down, consequences, this is going to happen, remove videos, da. This is a little different. This is more brutal than a crease and desist, whatever you want to call it. But this is more brutal because this is telling you you're going to sign this document because you've been talking a lot of trash. And if you lose, you're going to lose $500,000 in court. If you don't sign it in 3 days, it means you don't have the evidence, and we can go in and sue you for more money. That's how brutal one of those are. So, yeah, there you go. Easier way to do business. And then there's no back and forth. There's no nonsense with this, that, and the other. Just open and shut. That's it. Now, for those of you naysayers at the end of the day who have a bad habit of opening your mouth and not doing research, you do know you have a computer on this thing, right? You sign your name to any document, you're bound by it. So you know that. So if me and you had a conversation, naysayer, in a restaurant, and you asked to borrow $5,000 from me, and I said, sure, I'll give you $5,000, but I'm going to need it paid back. Now, any agreement that we made in there, basically, I don't care if it's on a napkin. If it's on a napkin at the end of the day, could have a ketchup stain. Who cares? You signed your name to the agreement. You have to pay. You think I'm joking? Actually, it's happened a couple of times in court where people have been sat in a diner and mates asked for some money or whatever happened. And the guy was like, look, okay, here's the thing. I trust you, but verbal contracts are no-go in court. You have to have a signature showing that the person agreed to it, or basically considered hearsay. Evidence. You have to have evidence. So it doesn't make a difference. It's on a napkin, the size of a greasy paper bag. Your signature sit on it. You agreed to the terms and conditions of basically whatever that contract obtained. It doesn't have to be notarized. Your signature's on it, which means you read it, you understood it, you signed it, which means it can be held against you in a court of law. And people have taken people to court over a napkin. Yeah. Yep. Or somebody may be sitting in there and they can be singing this song in their head like they're making this music, right? And they're writing down the lyrics on a napkin. Like, do. But somebody can be sitting at the table listening to what they're singing and say, wow, that makes a pretty good song right there at the end of the day. I'm going to take that from that person. And the person who's singing the song, writing the lyrics down, he'll date it. Like, I'll date blah, 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 you know, mark it, sign it. He can get you in court for that. Because he can show proof and date it that he had the lyrics to that song before you. There's all kinds of stuff, like I said, that can be held in court because of substantial evidence. But the napkin contract, oh heck yes, signed your name to it. You agreed to it. So court's going to order you to pay that money. Now, it can go differently now because now, before having a payment arrangement from this guy, he doesn't trust you with a payment arrangement anymore because you basically, damaged the agreement with the payment arrangement. So what he's going to do is he's going to execute judgment on you. And that means now you're in a situation that's bad. Because again, with the execution of judgment, instead of you getting the payment arrangements or this, that, and the other, court could advise a payment arrangement. You could say, Your Honor, I'm going to deny that. We tried that before, and this is why we're here. I feel better with getting the judgment, and then I'm going to execute on this. And that's what's going to happen, which means now you're going to be dealing with debt collectors. And these guys in the day are worse than the repos. Because these guys will come to inside your house and take your stuff. First things first, they'll go to your banking account to see if you had the money first. Maybe you got the money laying around in a bank. This mind you, they have to contact sheriff's department, whatever, because they have to have some kind of escort down it just in case if anything goes crazy in the process. They will show up with officers. But they'd rather do this as peaceful as possible. How much is your car worth? Stuff like that, you know what I mean? They can just easily just take without basically entering the home. But it gets very personal. So if you got the money in the bank, they'll just take it out of your bank. But before that happens, they'll freeze your bank accounts. All that stuff gets frozen. Everything gets locked down. You don't have access to jack. And if you don't, your credit score doesn't diminish that quick. It's if you don't have it. If you don't have it, then your credit scores, you suffer from it. You take that hit. Yeah. And after that, they'll figure like you work, how much money do you make, and then they'll go through your, mind you, some people think at the end of the day that, oh, I'll just spend my money as fast as I can and they'll never get their hands on it. It don't work that way. They go to your payroll, they go to your bank, and they go take your money out before you get your money. So they make sure they get paid. I told you, they don't play around. And yes, they do have access to payrolls. They'll go there, and you'll notice when you get your check, you're like, wait, my check's lower than it used to be. And you'll see them right there at that company, right there, saying how much they took out of you. And they'll continue to take that money out of you until you pay it up with interest. That's the jacked up part too. Because there is interest. You will be paying that too. So that's why I said, not worth saying stupid things or doing dumb stuff. Because you ever heard the term, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes? Let me explain something to you. The prizes are also plenty, and they're different types of prizes. Some can be small, some can be large. But I guarantee you, whatever they are, they hurt a lot. And I've seen people break down and cry in court. I've sued a few people for doing dumb stuff around me. Now, I don't see everybody every time. No. Some people I just let go because I don't want to be bothered with it. You know, I mean, it's not a big deal. But this whole projector fiasco nonsense, it cost me time that I can't get back. It ain't the money, it's the time. I got things to do at the end of the day. I don't got time to be sitting there fiddle-faddling back and forth between eBay and this guy at the end of the day. I need a machine that works in here now. I paid you the money. I want a machine that works. The fiddle-faddle nonsense is a headache for me. That's it. I can take him to court. I can easily clean this clock in the courtroom. Easy, because I got everything there to do it. Do I want to do it? No, I don't want to do it because I got other things to do. I'd rather be working than being in a courtroom all day. I don't care what is in there. I'd rather be working. I got things to do. That's like, at the end of the day, people think, oh, if I get hit by a car, I can't afford to get hit by a car. I got stuff to do. I ain't got time to get sick. I ain't got time to be in. I ain't got time for none of that. I got things to do. Yeah, I ain't got time for that. I got things to do. That's how busy my schedule is. I got things to do. Now, I'm looking at this. We got that done. I'm checking things off in the checklist. I got this wall PC I'm going to build. The wall PC we're going to build, we're not doing anything crazy and spectacular. None of these machines we have in here cost me a lot of money. That's what I love about it. We can game off this, have fun off it, but my applications off of it. You don't need a lot of power. And that's where we run into the problem with the console gamer, because PC gamers aren't saying this. Because we all know PC gamers, if you're a PC gamer, you know from the door you don't need a lot of power. You know. That's why they have different forms of types of builds. If you need a lot of power, every single PC would be an elitist setup. And it's not. You got budget builds. All that. Because you don't need all that power. Depends on what kind of applications you're running. And if you are running that, you still don't need that kind of power. But, we get console gamers in here. We know they're console gamers. Strictly console gamers. Because if they were PC and console gamers, they would have never made that statement to begin with because they already know from the door. They're definitely just console gamers. And they'll say something like, well, you don't have this and have that. You don't need all that at all, period. Like, you're blowing it way out of proportion. Like, you don't need none of that stuff. And the most perfect example of that is God of War. God of War runs off a 20 series graphic card, but yet on your machine, you got to run it on a graphic card equivalent to a 4070. It just tells you right there. That's a massive jump in price between a 4070 and a 20 series. So we can run it on our machines at the end of the day in maximum ultra settings at that, right? On that. Why is it running on such a high piece of equipment on your machine? Your system's overhyped. It is way overhyped. So, again, it's kind of like they're saying that, well, the console gamer doesn't know any better. Let's just charge them whatever. And they'll pay for it because they think it's powerful and they have to have it. That's literally what it feels like. You don't need all that stuff. You do specification. Go to, like I said, take the time, get yourself a Steam account, go through it, and see exactly what the requirement is. And you'll be like, what the freak? Like, you can run Ratchet and Crank off this? Yeah, you'd be sitting there like, oh, why am I paying all this money to run it off that? It's not, you don't even need all that. It's overhyped. So, yeah, they overhype your parts. And they charge you a lot of money. But, you know, for some people at the end of the day, we say, oh, that's not true. Oh, my goodness, you poor, poor person in such deep denial. Really? You never remember when the Xbox system came out and they made their ports only made for their system, so you couldn't buy third-party controllers or keyboards or mouses or whatever you want to run through your system, even any form of output for your TV. All that had to be bought from their company because they had special little adapters on them that they only plugged into their systems and their systems only. Yeah, you couldn't go swap out for this, that, and the other because you couldn't do it. Like, if you ever had the Xbox, the original one, the one that came out with a 10 gig hard drive and it was 480p, I had one when it first came out. You couldn't pull that hard drive out and stick another one there. It wouldn't read it. Because they had special software on their hard drives that would not allow you to accept other hard drives. It wouldn't do it. I know, because I modded one. Everybody was trying to get them up to 20 gigs. Imagine that. But yeah, so they've been doing that for years. So if you look at your console system now, can you go in there and change out your graphic card? Can you change your power supply out? Can you change your CPU, GPU, any of that? Can you change any of that stuff out? Only thing you can change is RAM. Your RAM, on your hard drive, which is good because you can change that to any format of different form of M2 solid state drive. But at one point, if they had their way, it'd be their solid state drive only, and they'll charge you all this money for it. And for those people saying, "Oh, that doesn't happen," yes, because the Xbox 360 did it. Literally, they had these special little drives that you would snap on the top, and everybody thought there was something special. But if you pop one of those things open, it had 2.5 laptop hard drive sitting in it. SATA hard drive sitting inside. That's all it was. That case over top of it was just a case. That's all it was. To fit on top of it. With the hard drive on top. There was nothing special about the hard drives. Or the guy sitting there talking about, oh no, but their hard drives are special than any other PC hard drive. No, buddy, it's the same freaking hard drive. And you can literally pull those hard drives out and put another PC hard drive in there. Any hard drive, and it'll run with no problem. It'll automatically format it. The thing about it is, you couldn't up how much storage space you had because it only read a certain number, and that's it. Until later on, they came with flash drives. I know my stuff at the end of the day. Can't go in there and say, hey, I want to swap out my 20 and put maybe like a half a gig on there. I want to put 2 gigs or whatever. You can't do that. It's a limit on what you can put in it, and it cuts off from there, and it won't read the rest of it. It won't pull up. So when you go on your system, you go to pull exactly how much free space you have. It'll tell you exactly you have. If you have like 3 terabytes and it'll only read 1 terabyte of that. They limit it. So it just is what it is. So when I get a person that comes in and they rant about this, that, and the other, and they start talking about how PCs are so expensive and this and the other, I say, it's a console. It's a console game. You know from the door it's a console gamer. Because you guys would be the only one. I'm not even talking about console gamer that owns PC, because they won't be in there. They already know. They have PC. I'm talking about console gamer only would be the one complaining about that one. Like the guy who forgot a motherboard. We already knew that from the door. And literally had to put desktop up. Why would you? If you got a 5090, of course you're going to have it on a desktop. Again, where are you going to put that card? That card's huge. Where'd you put it at? Ain't shoving that thing into a laptop. That's not going anywhere. And on top of that, you didn't even explain the case. What kind of case do you put? A 5090 does not sit in a normal case. Neither does a 4090. Them cards are huge. You can't stick those things in any case you want. What type of liquid cooling system are you putting on this? There is no way in the world. If I had a 5090 in my case, there's no way in the world I'm running that on that fan system. That's standard fans they have. And I guarantee the RPMs are not even that high on them. I changed up the RPMs on mine. Got them up to 4,000 RPMs on mine and when it came at 1,500 stock. So I definitely swapped those things out. The thing about it is when you get to the RGBs don't allow you to have freaking fans that are like way up there on that caliber. Again, they really don't. So you're kind of stuck with those. Unless the only way you can basically get around that is basically if you don't have any fans at the bottom, Then you can get some nice industrials, which I like these because they light up, but these things are super bright. But you can get some nice industrials on black ones. The ones they use for service, some like big boys in there. They'll do 4,000, 5,000 RPM. Snap those suckers at the bottom. Have it like a sandwich between your radiator fan system, which is nice. It'll keep your system nice and cool. Rather than that, yeah. But anyway, moving on. Yeah, so that's how we know from the door, because what they say, like, it's going to cost so much. No, man. You can literally get a PC that costs cheaper than your console. You can do so much more with that. It's unbelievable. But you know what? There's no point in talking about this, because you know why? You're going to be PC anyway. You're heading there anyway. You're on your way there. You're there going to PC. And no U-turns, nothing. It's like you're going down a straight path, and you could even see it. All the signs you ride past are saying PC ahead, and you have no brakes. You're just going full throttle ahead, and you can see the Emerald City of PC. That's where you're going, because they can't afford to build your console system. It's too much money. You've seen what that Pro did, right? You think I'm put it this way, you think they didn't get any of that feedback back to them? Yeah, they got that feedback. They got a lot of that feedback that system was too expensive. But you're not doing console anymore. You're not doing put your system in, you just game. No online play, no apps, no surfing internet, just gaming. Like the Nintendo, like the Atari 2600, like any of them systems. Are they built like your system? No. Your system has turned slowly into a computer. You start adding in Twitter, you start adding in Facebook, you start adding in Netflix. You do all that on PC regardless. You start putting an internet browser, can't get any more closer than that at the end of the day. You can put a keyboard, you can put a mouse up to it. I'm not getting any closer than this at the end of the day on how close you have come to a PC now. You've got PC parts in there, because before on console never had parts that identified with PC. They had parts that were like kind of like watered down, kind of like put together makeshift parts that resemble some, but not technically PC. And now you have parts in it that basically are equivalent to PC parts. What about the whole using cartridges that kept you separate from PC? Well, that's gone. PC used disc at the same time too, but you use disc now too. And now you're into digital download, which is PC. It's digital download. You know the funny thing about this? Remember all the fighting everybody did about DRM? You're doing it right now. You're literally doing DRM. All that fighting and screaming and counting. The Pro system didn't come with an optical drive. They took it off because it's not needed. Technically, it's not needed. It's a waste of money to have an optical drive now. And you look at any of the PCs you buy today, none of them have a port for an optical drive. It's not needed. Everything's download now. You're in the digital area. You go to the store to go buy a stereo system. Is there an 8-track in there? No. Why would there be an 8-track in there? Unless you're buying something old school, but in the brand new equipment have 8 tracks? No. None of them have them. They don't need them. It's not even necessary. You done went from a rack system to having reel-to-reel and bridgeable mono stereo and cassette tape and 10-speed 10-channel graphic equalizer, record player, preamp, all that craziness down to a freaking sound bar with a bunch of speakers. And the sound bars, when those came out, they had wires connected to them. Now they're just completely wireless. They're all Bluetooth now. So everything has changed. In your car, you got satellite radio. What happened to the cassette player? Heck, at one point you used to have a record player. Some of the cars had 45s and they had a record player to pop out before you had your CD. People are all amazed about the CD. Like, oh my God, it's a CD in your car. Yeah, well, they had record players in cars. Way back in the day. So, yeah. I bet you they had to skip a lot. You had to drive really slow with that record player. Like a rhinestone cow. Remember that? It's off topic. But anyway. So basically, technology has to change. That's what it comes down to. They want to make it smaller, slicker, more powerful. And if you look at the... I'll tell you something. I'm going to tell you right from the door. You can get the most high-tech equipment on the planet when it comes to your audio, but nothing beats old school. That's why the old school systems cost far more money ever than the new system today. You're talking about an old preamp, 2-amp receiver that runs off tubes. Yeah, roughly. I think it costs more than the entire system, your TV, freaking everything in your freaking living room. Yeah, the tube amps are super, super crazy expensive. When they used to be really cheap, anybody can get them. Now they're like really crazy expensive. But anyway, yeah. So bottom line is the involvement of your system is now PC. You're not PC yet, but you soon will be. Because what's going to happen, like I told you before, console gamer, you can sit there and get mad about this and get upset. You can't stop it. It's going to happen. Imagine the people that were listening to 8-track. You know, you had all these 8-tracks in the back of your car. You know what I mean? 8-track is the future. And then next you know, poof, it's not the future anymore. It's not for music in your car anymore. We all know it's satellite. But anyway. But and you put on top of that, you pay a fee for that, which is kind of jacked up. You just actually get, you know, FM for free. Some people still use FM. I would. Anyway. But still, it's a change. It's coming. So now you don't have disc anymore. You don't have cartridges. You don't have CDs. You know what that means when you come digital? That means your games can show up on any platform now. Because there's no barrier there no more. There's no format barrier. It doesn't exist. So that means that it's easier for companies to port exclusive titles anywhere they want. But also, too, they can make that money. Because instead of them waiting like, 2 years to make money, and PC has a massive fan base. It's huge. So instead of waiting to lose out on all that money, they can get that money from day one when that game launches. They can port it over to everything. Saves a lot of money. But on the other hand, it's a nightmare. It's a killer for your system. It's going to kill your system. So your system has been, they made that decision in 2020 to start porting your exclusives over. Now they could have ported over any other game. They got a mass library. They can put exclusives over there. But what's the point when it's all digital now? So at that particular point, everything's going to go back to the main system, which is PC. PC was here before console. You get console gamers are going like, no, console was here first. All right, so let me get this straight. Somebody used a console to build a PC? Your games were built off a console system? Operating systems run off a console system? I can run the software I have on my machine for projector mapping applications and 3D rendering graphics and all. I can run all that stuff off a console? You can't run it off a console. Console it's not a PC. PC was here first. Then it was console. So, that being said, you're going to evolve into full circle. The closer you come to trying to be a PC, you are going to become a PC. To the point where now everything's digital, they don't have to build the hardware anymore. The machine's right there. All they got to do is design the games, which means you'll become PC. And then for some people think at the end of the day, well, hey, I can still play on the Xbox and the gaming servers. They're going to cut that too. You know why? It's a waste of money. And we get rid of it. Well, that's that. It was a good run, wasn't it? I'm glad I've been around long enough to play it all. It's a good run. Because if they do this, Xbox does this. Xbox already doing it already. They got multiple platforms. Xbox does this and PlayStation does this. There's really no point in any console system coming out for what? Too expensive. It costs too much money. You guys gotten used to paying the whole $100, $250, $300, you know what I mean, $500 system. You got used to that. Now system's gonna cost you like $700, $800, $1,000 and all this other crazy stuff. Yeah. So long story short, bottom line is console's gonna disappear, whether you like it or not, and everything's gonna be all digital download. It's happening right now, and you're gonna get a PC. Because you can't play on the system anymore. You can play games that are offline. You could, but they're going to get rid of the servers. They're going to drop them. Now, it's funny how, when I tell people at the end of the day, before you open up and carry on and act up, learn to crack books. I got the email from the guy who sent to me telling me, oh, you don't know anything about them and the business and all that stuff, and blah, blah, blah. If you've been gaming for a long time, you would have seen this happen. I've seen it happen multiple times. You've seen companies do this. Sega did it. Sega basically dropped their systems on one third party. If you've been around long, you would know this. Apparently he hasn't. But anyway, talked all this trash and this nonsense about this, that, and the other, and then find out their exclusive games have been porting over since 2020. So that tells you right there it ain't going well. The other guy sat there and ranted about the PS5 when they first came out. Talking about, oh, you need to get a PS5. You got to update your system from a PS4. Blah 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 blah. You don't even have next gen. You got standard. The Pro would be next gen. You have a standard system. So all that trash talking about blah 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 blah. Systems are known for doing this mess, of bringing out other systems that are a little bit more powerful. They do that to start off by saying all the hype. This is next gen, next gen, next gen, and they don't creep up and pull out a system like, oh, this is actually more powerful than next gen. And then you sat there and already spent the money for something that, again, the other version came with better. Xbox did it. Xbox came with the Scorpion. Scorpion was supposed to do 4K. What happened to the original system come out? I mean, that didn't do 4K. So basically, you really don't even know if you have next gen or not, because you never know if another one's going to creep up and pop up out of nowhere. The sad thing about it is, we don't learn. We don't. I got dozens of console systems in my storage unit. That when I go back and look at them, I go, man, that was a lot of money spent. I ain't playing this stuff anymore. Got no interest in it whatsoever. Just staring at this stuff, collecting dust. Turn around, new system come out, I'll buy that one too. But the only system I'm planning to buy out of a console, actually the only one, console is not dead, to tell you the truth. There is a system out there that's still gonna be surviving. Nintendo. They were smart. Nintendo, I've seen console systems try to develop a portable and they have failed. Portables are hard to do. They have failed. You had the Neo Geo Pocket, failed. You had the Nomad, failed. You had some Game Gear, failed. They didn't do well at all, period. The Steam Deck is doing pretty good, to tell you the truth. It is doing pretty good. But still, at the end of the day, it doesn't have the hype as a Game Boy. The Game Boy is one of the most highest selling portable systems. Nintendo got it down pat. They know what they're doing. Right now, their console system is a freaking it's a whatchamacallit. It's a the console system is a whatchamacallit. It is a what do you call it? It's a handheld and console at the same time. Maybe that's what whatchamacallit's hoping to do. Maybe Xbox is hoping to do that, because this was becoming out with a handheld unit. But again, there's no point in making a handheld unit if your games are on other platforms. If I can play your games on a tablet or over here on my PC, or whatever, I can play it on my tablet, I can play it on my cell phone. What's the point of me buying a handheld system from them? A YouTuber came and said that one time. I was like, that's a fantastic idea. What's the point? You're going to spend $600 or $400, whatever that thing's going to cost you at the end of the day. You can do it on your cell phone or play on your tablet. That's a bad idea. Where you look at Nintendo, you can't play that game anywhere else except for their system. So they were smart about it. They didn't give out any of their exclusives. The only way, none of their games show up on PC, because I look for them and I can't find jack, can't find any of their stuff. So, you want PC gamers to get off their rigs and come over and play your system, don't port your games over to us. That's what you do. Because if we like a game enough, we'll go buy a console system. Like I'm going to buy myself a Nintendo Switch. Because I like the games that they have, I can get them on my system. So that means I'm willing to go over and spend that money for that system, pay for that online support or whatever they have over there to play their system. Which I'm picking one up, by the way. I'm giving you one. You gave out your milk too soon. Just sat back and let them know. Get the whole cow. I don't know why do they use that in a woman's term. That's kind of jacked up when you think about it. That is real jacked up. We can use a better term than that. That's what we messed up. But anyway, yeah, that's what that comes down to, people. Your system is on its way out. Sooner or later, that system I have over there that I've had for 11 years, and that's another sign that tells you right there for the door. And if you play gaming, if you all call yourself a true console gamer, you should know that from the door. You should definitely know this from the door. If you call yourself a 100% true console gamer, why is that system still there? Why is that system still there? Why is it still existing? That shouldn't be here at all. It's an 11-year-old system. But for some reason, when I go into my store to buy stuff out of there, I got the same games you have. I may have maybe, I say a few games, one or two, but majority of most of the games are on your system. That should never be. For Gen Z, who has not been around long enough to know exactly the console exchange process, is that the minute they mention a new system coming out, they begin the tear down of the older system, which means your system wouldn't have been around for a year. Lucky if it's a year. Lucky if you had a few games trickle out. Maybe some games they were working on before they came with the announcement they're going to stop supporting the other system. There's no way in the world that system would be 11 years old and still functioning and still getting games and all that, everything. You can stream off that cloud, the whole 9 yards. As a matter of fact, when I was playing the game system, I said something looks weird about it because, again, the graphics on there were a little bit like, for the time, the graphics on there look absolutely amazing, which means it's some kind of a software update where it looks way different. So why put the money in something like that? Why even add upgrades? Why even add updates? There's updates constantly on that machine all the time. Why are third-party gamers, people programmers, still making games for that thing? Because you know why? That thing makes more money than your PS5 system. Because your launch screwed up. That's why. Your launch screwed up so badly that this system is actually back in your system right now. Because it shouldn't exist right now. This is where they take the plunge. This is where they go in and they cancel this system to invest more money into the new system, because that's where they're going at, because that's where the money's at now, because everybody's a newer system. But there's literally more PS4 owners than there is basically PS5, because your launch got screwed up by basically when it came to the scalpers. This system was years without somebody touching it. And mind you, when the scalpers have stacks and stacks of these machines sitting in the warehouse, this is subscription cost. It doesn't get caught because this machine, if somebody buys it, they got to pay for the subscription and games, and then they're online. No one could get online with that thing because they weren't around. You couldn't get them, and that caused the system to suffer. So it's like starting a race and you trip first. Everybody else got a head start. You're still trying to catch up. But good thing for you, you have a system that's still running at the end of the day. That did start the race off nicely. And that system is supporting your system right now. How else would you explain it's still existing? Because it shouldn't be here. And if you're an old school gamer, or basically you call yourself a console gamer for real, not the console, that's not console gamer. I don't know what that thing is. There's an identity crisis. You're talking about real console gamers. You know, people played the Atari 2600, the Odyssey, Vectrex, games like that back in the day who started with all that crazy stuff. Those gamers at the end of the day. And you watched all this evolved. You watched systems like the Xbox One that came out, the original Xbox, get no support and get the Xbox Live service terminated for the Xbox 360. Can you game on the 360s anymore? Roughly, no, not really, because they're really not really supported anymore, because they got for the new, whatever, God knows how many Xboxes they developed. I know it's so many different versions of the Xbox that they have. It was just nuts. I just lost count. Anyway, I don't know which one to go on that one. And then you have, are they supporting online support for the PlayStation? Well, PlayStation didn't have any online support. I forgot about that. The first one didn't have, was Toshinden and all, didn't have that on there. But you have PlayStation 2. Because I remember PlayStation 2, and then we're going to go back and talk to the console gamers again, call themselves console gamers, and you don't even know your own system at the end of the day. This is where I have to get bad with you, man, at the end of the day. I've talked to PS owners, PlayStation owners, and they talk all this mad trash, and they'll sit there and talk about it. Not the ones who actually been through all this, who know this stuff. I'm talking about the ones who, the Gen Z population, because I talked to a lot of them. Mind you, we got a bunch of them in our family. And they go, you understand, man, PlayStation's been online for day one. And I got to look at them like, what the freak did you just say? Man, there was a time when you had to buy the modem just to play online. It came with SOCOM. It was a microphone system that you can literally voice activate and command the artificial intelligence AIs that they had in the gameplay. You can tell them to go forward, go backwards, stand, shoot, whatever, attack, blah, 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 blah. It was a big feature on it, these headsets. And this wire headset you stick in your ear, and it dropped down like a little cell phone. Some people have actually were using it for cell phones, or cell phones. But I remember you had to buy the modem. 56K modem that you had to plug into the back of it to play it. So no, you weren't always online. You got online when the PS2 came out. Is the system you have now considered to be the most expensive? No. Your system technically is not the most expensive. The most expensive would be the PS3, because the PS3 came out with a Blu-ray, and at the time Blu-ray was extremely expensive. But the reason why the PS3 sold, it wasn't typically mostly because of the games. It sold because they had a Blu-ray player on it, and at that particular time, Blu-ray players were extremely expensive, but on the PS3 it was much more reasonable. More people watch movies off the PS3 than they did on it, than game on it, because again, it had a Blu-ray player on it. Yeah. Do you know your gaming history? You do not know. No, I'm not saying to people in this room, I don't know. You guys are probably older than me, and some people are probably the same age I am. I check my age group. I got people around my age, so you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, some of the younger generation, I had to break down the system. Like, the N64, a lot used to go online and play games. At the end of the day, it was called SharkNet. Also, too, Sega had one too, because it was called SegaNet too, and they had one. Little cartridge that popped in the top, was 14.4 modem had on it. That thing took forever. Yeah. And you want to talk about gaming at that. I remember when CD-ROM came out. I remember having Sega CD, the Sega Genesis system that had a little compartment that slapped on the side of it, and you can go play games from the CD. It was different because you can watch real movie scenes on it that would pop up, which was freaking cool. What was interesting too is the Panasonic 3DO and CDI didn't have they had CD players on them. I forgot they both had CD players on them, and they could basically run movie scenery at the time. Cartridges couldn't do it. So it was interesting to live through all that stuff. But it's just the hardware costs too much money. It's just costing console way too much money, and I think they proved it when they built the PS Pro. It's way too much money. It's just better off if they basically, at the end of the day, just port their games over to the systems, and you're gonna pretty soon, as you're on your road to PC, and you're looking at your system, it's gonna say first shows the PS1, and then PS2 and PS3, and you go on. Us would be a little farther back than that, and then gradually, as you start moving down this highway, your truck starts to change. You know what I mean? You go into automatic and all that, and next you know, by the time you pull up into that Emerald City of PC, the truck is self-driving and aware. It even knows it's even a vehicle at the end of the day. Heck, it might even transform in front of you and have a conversation with you. Welcome to the future. You have now become PC. All that fighting that you have done, talking about PC Master Race, that we live in golden mansions, we cry golden tears. When I heard that, I couldn't stop laughing. It was a familiar word of my entire life. You are now going to become PC. You've been changing bit by bit. You just haven't been seeing it. You've slowly been changing. You just haven't seen it. I do both. I do PC and console at the same time. So I've seen it. Every time I open up one of those machines and go look inside, I go, wow, got parts in here like this? Really? Okay. I see console. You're changing. Yep. Now you're going to be PC. Yep, there you go. You're changing over to PC, and soon you'll be part of the Master Race. Yes, you will be. Yep. And when you be sitting and rocking each other, I remember back in the day when the console system was a console system, but now it's just PC. Yep, that used to be the good old days, man. Donkey Kong Country, Nintendo, N64, all those games back in the day. And then you had those real games, those real gamers at the end of the day that played on Pong and Odyssey and Vectrex and Atari and all that. Yeah, you guys are about to turn into PCs soon. So your systems cost too much money. They know already your systems cost too much money. See, here's the thing about it, the dilemma you're in right now. You want high-powered games. That's what you want, right? You want to call yourself PC. But you don't want to pay the money of PC. That's the thing about it. It don't work that way. You're going to have to spend that money. You want those parts, you're going to pay for them. The problem is the console gamer is not prepared to pay for those parts. PC is, because we pay for those parts regardless, whether it be budget, whatever it is. We know we're going to pay for those parts. So it's a normal thing for us. But you guys is not normal. You used to have these budget systems at the end of the day. And this does not go well for you. And you have expressed yourself clearly when the Pro came out. And you think they didn't get that feedback? They got all that feedback back. I'm pretty sure they got some letters and stuff. Your system too expensive. But what you want me to do? I mean, you want to have all the powerful parts. You want to brag about having the best system, but you want to pay for the parts. You got to pay to get that stuff. So, with that being said, they were like, you know what? Let's just lease our stuff out third party. You know, we're close to PC anyway. It's like you were in training. Like they put you in training. You know, it's kind of like it's kind of like they put you in training. You know, yeah, you go inside your system now. You change your parts in it now. You know what I mean? It gave a little taste of PC at the end of the day. You got digital download and download your games and stuff. You know what I mean? It's kind of like they were getting you ready for it. So let's see. PS6 comes out. The question about the PS6, is it going to come out? Are they going to spend the money? Or are you going to get that special announcement that they usually go, all right, people, we have decided we're going to become a third-party company. Because I've heard that one before. Yep, Sega. Sega's a big company. Sega has been around longer than PlayStation. So yeah, you're going to get that speech. You can't afford to make your machine. It costs too much money. They're just better off just giving out your games. I mean, quite frankly, like I said, you can get a console game. You can get a console, you can get a PC system that's cheaper than your console system. And then if you sit there and say, well, at the end of the day, it doesn't have the same equivalence graphic card, you don't even need that graphic card to play on your system. You can play on PC for far less. So it's not even necessary. So with that being said, you know how cheap a 20 series graphic card is? That's cheap. So with that being said, since you don't need all that hardware to begin with, you can play your game system on a budget build system. Because I did it already. I literally built, when the PS4s came out and they were talking about that stuff, and I built that Steam Punk gaming PC, the system next to it was a system that I built. I put it together. It cost less than the PS4. I ran all their games off of it. No problem. In ultra settings. With no problem. Did it on YouTube. Posted a long time ago. I was building PCs. Yep. So you don't need all that stuff to begin with. They just tell you need all that stuff, but you don't need all that stuff. That's crazy. Well, welcome to the future, people. Welcome to the jungle. We got fun games. Yeah, because you're there already. I don't know how long it took them too long. Well, look at the bright side. You're going to have a ball. I mean, hey, you guys like driving games at the end of the day? Like I said, do your research. Go pop on Steam. If you think at the end of the day there's no games on PC, you are sadly mistaken. There are more games on PC than you have in your console system. Heck, even if you have the Xbox and the PlayStation couldn't combine how many games are on PC. There are so many different versions to your game, it's not even funny. You're going to go down like, wait a minute, when did they make this part 2? I never seen it. You won't see it on PC. There are games coming out right now that they're making for PC right now you will not see on a console system. I bet you that GTA 6 looks better on a PC than it does on a console system. I don't care what part you have in your machine. Because people saying, well, we got, no. There's parts on PC, the elitists, their systems are different. There are parts they have on their machine that your console could never come close to. Your system would cost way too much money to be one of those machines. No. And on top of that, you know they can do with their machines? They can go in and change the program. So if you do coding at the end of the day, yeah, happy, joy to you, you can go in and change your games. Make them look more realistic. Which I can't wait to see that. What code is going to come out and make them in the mods they put into the system? Again, you can mod on PC. Can you imagine that? When you switch over to PC, you guys have mod. That's why people who mod already mod on PC. They already do it because they got freedom over there. They're not prosecuted for modding. They can even sell their mods over there. You can buy mods and they can make some money. But you come over to console and you get ridiculed for this, for doing it, if you're caught modding. But they come over there because the wow factor is much greater. I mean, if I'm going to be on PC and everybody in there mods themselves, you got to do something really, really crazy to impress a PC gamer on basing something on mod. But you come over to a console system, y'all not used to seeing that. So you're playing Grand Theft Auto, and you got Godzilla walking around with Hawaiian shorts on, and every time he shoots flames out comes like giant balloons. Never seen anything like that. So that's wild to see something like that. Wow, look at that. That's freaking crazy. And how do they do that? Yeah, because they get that credibility over there. But the bad thing about it is they can get banned too on top of that. Pretty soon you'll have the freedom to basically do whatever the frick you want to do. You're going to enjoy it. Now, that being said, how much time do we kill? I told you I do have these conversations when I'm killing time because I got to go basically out and get glue sticks. Because we need glue sticks like there's no tomorrow. We have to stack up on the glue sticks today. Lots and lots of glue sticks. It's my dream to have as many glue sticks, to have thousands of glue sticks. I got to build several things. His cabin unit over there is being changed out to something better. And I'm definitely going to be building me an under the desk organizer because good gracious, I need one so badly. And we're going to do the wall PC over here. So we got bills to do. Some painting to do on the side of this. We had the LED light system coming in today to turn the top into pink to get it ready for that cool cyberpunk. Bang, 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 bang. Yeah. And what we found out now in the plexiglass over here, I ordered a 24 by 36. Yeah, man, damn much money that cost these black versions. Oof. So basically, if I got a 24 by 36 and the clear ones I have behind me right now, it'll cost me roughly around $48 for about 7 of them. That over there, 24 by 36, would roughly cost me $80 for one. I get 2 of those if they're actually 8 feet, no, sorry, about 8 inches by 12 inches. I get 2. If I'm doing clear, I get 9. So they cost more. Alright, I got a few places to call. I got to call about that place about basically about getting that surface shipped in because we need it thin. They got them in different colors. They got a minimum, which I like to order from them to get my surface in. The fantastic thing about that right there is the fact that, like I said, if we're doing a clear version, we have to do multi-coats on it to turn it black. Which is it's work at the end of the day. The whole object is to get something that you can mass produce and it's easy to do. It's why that whole nonsense with the crazy instructions from the other guy talking about all that painting you have to do, like 5 applications, pushing paint around to get it wet. He wouldn't even they couldn't even, there's no way in the world he would ever get a manufacturing contract. It's too much work involved to do the screen. Way too much work. Like I said, for instance, like you got an apartment complex, you want to add in like movie screens into the apartment complex for, people, sweeten the pot a little bit because people do that. They put little movie theaters in there, dedicated theater rooms in there for their tenants. And you got about 30 units. Now you got to do 30 units, excuse me, the exact same way he did in that demonstration. How long do you think you paint to get that done? It'll take you a while. You're going to be there for a while. Now, if you got a product that comes out, it's a 1-coat application, you paint it down, done, just like that. You can knock that out like in no time at all. Just like we did this giant screen here. This giant screen was done in no time at all. Painted it in, just like that, done. And we got this running through our PC. Because this is what my PC is going to be at, no more. This is what my PC is going to be at from now on. The monitor is on its way out. I told you we get rid of the monitor. But I saw this. Now, I